Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about TY-PHON. So TY-PHON specifically is a very powerful yet not powerful card at the exact same time. So TY-PHON might read crazy to some people at the start. Like a lot of people were unsure if TY-PHON was good or not, and I have the answer now after playing with TY-PHON just on and off. So during the turn or turn after your opponent special summon 2 or more monsters from the extra deck, you can also XYZ summon this card by using one monster you control with the highest attack, your choice if tied. So this restriction kind of sucks. TY-PHON would be a not even that much better, but just a little bit better if we could XYZ summon uh, on top of just whatever monster of our choice. But that's not that important, I guess. Transfer its materials to this card. If you do, you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, so this restriction is really hefty. And this makes TY-PHON essentially just really bad, I suppose, because TY-PHON, well, the effect on TY-PHON isn't that good considering how hefty this restriction is. So next we have all this XYZ summon monsters on the field. Neither player can activate the effects of monsters with 3000 or more attack. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, return one monster from the field to the hand. So specifically, this effect here is fairly good, but it's not like crazy. So soft ones per turn, I don't know why it's soft ones per turn, but it is. You can detach a material from this card, return one monster from the field, non-targeting. So it's non-targeting, non-destruction, removal, which is good in general, but return to the hand is worse than shuffling. So, for example, if we were to shuffle back an extra deck monster, it can just be summoned again, no problem, right? And a lot of decks nowadays have ways to set up a follow-up. So yeah, not exactly the ideal situation here, putting a monster back to our opponent's hand. So let's assume maybe instead it's something like a Therion Regulus, then yeah, just simply summon back Therion Regulus from hand. That is also no good. But the niche usage that you can use, well, TY-PHON for is to return your own cards. So you can return TY-PHON itself. You can return just whatever. I mean, a goofy thing that technically can happen, because this is non-targeting though, is your opponent, let's say they're playing Unchained, they can use Escape of the Unchained to pop their own card. So probably a High Wave King Caesar plus a what's it called? Unchained Soul of Rage. We could do that. Remove them off the field, so you have to spin back your own TY-PHON, which is kind of funny. But also, this isn't a 1800 monster, so it can still activate its effect. Even though TY-PHON has this floodgatey effect, this floodgatey effect is just very situational. Doesn't super come up, honestly, so pretty awkward. And also, TY-PHON also can floodgate itself. So, also awkward, but alright. Let's see. So Unchained Soul of Rage can still activate, High Wave King Caesar can still activate, being 2.8k, and this is also an ignition effect and not a trigger effect here. So that means your opponent has priority to activate a quick effect before you can even activate TY-PHON. So honestly, TY-PHON is only useful in very niche situations, because if you make TY-PHON, you will just die on the clapback super hard. Because TY-PHON is a 2.9k guy, even if you put him in defense, whatever you were floodgating with TY-PHON can just run over TY-PHON and then continue the play, and then you're just completely cooked the next turn. Assuming your opponent does not have lethal on turn 3, you are absolutely cooked on turn 5. So yeah, not great. But specifically against Zeus, this really adds Zeus well. Yeah, that's about it. But if your opponent can make another Zeus, yeah, that's a bit of a problem. So, general idea, of course, with Zeus is your opponent special summons 2 or more monsters from the extra deck to make Zeus, right? So, we special summon any XZs, doesn't matter what it is. We could make, I don't know, artifact Durandal or whatever, and then we go Zeus. That's summon 1 Durandal, summon 2 Zeus, and then that meets the condition for Typhon. So this is especially good against like just things like Bannered Zeus and multiple activation Zeuses. That's the only reason you really will enjoy the usage from your Typhon. Like just the ridiculous amount of activations on Zeus. So if you're against like Pearly on turn like 5, this is when Typhon pops off. And I have a replay to show you guys showing off like Typhon kind of winning me a game in a really dumb way. But alright. Typhon. It has uses. Are they the best usages? Maybe not, but alright. So in this duel, I'll be going first, and a little bit awkward because I get Maxied here, so can't really set up the full end board, but it is what it is. So alright. Activate Fissure, Maxi, yep. And then here, we just Fenrir grab Tier Cash, pass turn, and then we'll banish Big Bang for because I don't want to draw it, I guess. And then here, my opponent is going to do this to instantly make the Lingering Bow, and then I can't imperm. And then they had Parallel Exceed, and then they also had another 4 in hand. And then here, they have no more extenders, I'm assuming, so not much they can do here. So they're going to send Birth, so I can't really do anything here. So they pretty much have to send Fenrir Birth, because if they send Fissure plus Fenrir, then, well, I'll just Birth back Fenrir next turn and completely run over them next turn. But okay. I'll just Tier Cash here because I don't want it to be hand ripped. This plays into triple tactics talents, which I mean, I'm just okay with. So whatever, we'll do that, and this allows me to add Fenrir back because these two were bashed at the same time, so I can add this back instead of having to add Big Bang. And then they run over Rise Heart because why not? So now I can't actually summon this Fenrir in my hand because, you know, it's stuck in hand. I can't normal summon it because I don't have enough guys to tribute over. Gamma in hand, I can't normal summon this, so that doesn't really help. This Tier Cash, I can't crash it because I am bigger than the Laplation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Typhon here. And then I can't really do anything for the rest of the turn, but I'll just run over the Laplation and pass. Fissure is still here, so, you know, it is what it is. There's no, like, big play that my opponent can make. The only other thing they can do, aside from the play they do, is to make access code, I guess, right? And access code is not game, so it's pointless. So they're going to make sure to summon a guy that is smaller than my guy, so I can't crash, right? If they summoned access code and added my Typhon for me, they do have the information that I have Fenrir in hand. But of course, they're going to draw. That doesn't really affect me too much. If they drew into a Maxi, of course, that's... or a Bell, because they might play 2 or 3 of Bell, just judging from them getting milled, but whatever, their hand seems bricked up enough. Effect Failure is not activatable either, and they have no set back row, so we're going to activate Typhon, spin itself, special summon Fenrir. So essentially, Typhon is only usable in really bad game states where both players need to top deck to save their lives, essentially. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure my opponent there had complete garbage in their hand, and I was top decking more or less complete garbage as well. But, you know, because I had Typhon here, in this specific situation, I don't think any other extra deck monster really would have done it. Aside from maybe like a Gravity Controller, I think it was called. Actually, wait, Gravity Controller wouldn't have done it because I would have had Tier Cash, just a solo Tier Cash on the field, which is kind of like rough for me to get rid of. The only way I could have gotten rid of this is if I put this in defense and asked my opponent to kindly attack into their my Tearlaman's Kashtira. So, yeah. not the best situation to be in, but because we had Typhon there, we could get rid of our cards on the field so we could continue our play with exterior cards, although I didn't really have that good of a follow-up for that turn. We still had Fissure plus Fenrir, and then we can Rise Heart banish 3 more cards off our opponent's main deck, and notably they cannot activate Circular Effect because Circular sends to Graveyard a monster for cost, and they also don't have Parallel Exceed or Sigma anymore, putting me in a somewhat decent position. So if we were to simplify this, I guess we can just say that Typhon essentially is only good in simplified game states where you're just going unga bunga. And aside from that, there's not really that much mileage you get out of Typhon, but I mean, if you can fit Typhon, you know, might as well. I mean, I have room for Elder Entity, Intus, Cyframe Lord Omega, Infinitrack Goliath, and the reason I have these guys is for a few different reasons. The first one is if I make a Rise Heart and I activated Prosp, I can attach Intus, and then if my opponent outs my Rise Heart, I get the Intus activation because it gets sent to the graveyard. And I can also get protected by Goliath's effect here. So that's why these guys are in the extra deck. And then we have Omega for Gamma because I need to get the Gamma off my field if I activate this in response to like a Maxi or something. So assume I activate like Rates Off, my opponent Ashes, Chain, Gamma, then I just have like the Gamma and Driver cast stuck on my field. I mean, technically I could do like normal summon Unicorn for beating these two, but that's just bad. Instead, I'll just run Omega and essentially hand rip my opponent for 2 and then do my combo. That sounds a lot better, right? And if my opponent does any funny business with my extra deck, forcing me to send cards from the extra deck, I can always just send Entus and Omega and then just keep recycling it. And then we have that option as well. So that's the other reason these guys are here. Despite me not playing anything that actually sends the Entus, since I have space for this, this has won me like maybe 5 games, just having Entus in the extra deck. But you know, that's 5 more games, and there's really not much to put in a cash extra deck. So yeah, the only downside of me running my extra deck like this is it's bad for the mirror. If my opponent banishes a card from my extra deck, it hurts more than usual, but that's about it. So yeah, Typhon is the very description of mid card, in my opinion. It has its uses, so there are times that you'll be hurting for the Typhon, and in those times you'll really want the Typhon, but I mean, those situations are not going to be common occurrences. So yeah, Typhon is not going to really be doing you that many favors, I guess. Maybe in the mirror, you make like a really big Zeus, I can threaten it pretty hard with like anything, so there is that idea. But if you're ahead enough, you could just remove like a normal summoned Ash Blossom, a special summoned Kishtira, or any kind of special summoned monster to prevent Typhon from coming out, if it does even matter. Because like if you were playing Yubel, it genuinely doesn't matter for you because, well, none of your guys have enough attack points for Typhon to care, so pretty awkward in that regard, and not being able to really choose what monster you're using for material for Typhon kind of also annoying. And then also locking you out of normal summoning also sucks. So just for example, let's assume I have like a guy with Ignition effect to search, then I would have to like special summon a big guy, maybe like, I don't know, a Pankratops, a Fenrir, whatever. So maybe we special summon this, and then I'll have to normal summon a guy with some sort of effect that lets me play. So I don't know. Let's go with Uni-Zombie. This does something. It'll probably get run over, like hella run over next turn, but you know, special summon Pank, normal summon Uni-Zombie, and then on top of the Pank, I can make a Typhon run over my opponent's guy, do Uni Zombie. In this case, you would just send Banshee activate, Banshee effect to put Zombie World on the field, and then pass turn, and hopefully you draw a playable next turn or something. So yeah, pretty awful. So Typhon, if you guys have any other usages for Typhon, let me know in the comments below if I missed any. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.